This segment is brought to you by JigMasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to JigMasters.com and use promo code PNF20 and save 20% off your next jig order today. Hello, and welcome back to the Paddle and Fin podcast. This is Adventures with Outdoorwoman, and here's your host. This is Susie Roloff. What's up, everybody? Susie Keith here with Adventures with Outdoorwoman podcast, and today I've got some guests on me who aren't ladies. I've got Mr. Brad Hicks, Josh Eldridge, and the OG show. Oh my God, I cannot talk. The OG show host, Brian Schiller.
Woo woo! I feel like I just won a prize. Is this The Price is Right?
Come on down.
Yeah.
You're the next contestant on Adventures with Outdoorwoman.
Oh man. Well, as long as it like the prize isn't like women's clothing or makeup or something, I'm good. I'm good.
Liar. He
I don't
dresses
have
like that all the time.
either, so
Are you telling people my secrets, Josh?
Might as well. The world's ending.
Yeah. I thought you said you wanted to keep this positive.
I mean, I'm positive with it, dude. I'm pretty stoked. I'm hoping we all turn into
Oh,
zombies.
hey, he's positive, all right.
I was listening to a podcast earlier on my way home from work, and it's this poker guy that I always watch, Joe Ingram, and he's like, you know what? He's like, people are out here freaking out, man. If we're going to die, we're going to die. You might as well enjoy life while you can. Quit freaking out, you know? And I'm like, it's so true, though, you know? I don't know, man. I mean, it could be worse. Could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. But yeah, starting off with the big news of last night, the national championship is officially postponed until November. I gotta say, I'm really glad.
I think I'm the only one excited about that because now I could probably fish the NC. I was like, yes.
Is it still going to be on Gunnersville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And are they still going to have? Are they going to have a 2021 still too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's just
So
going to be a
interesting.
lot closer together now since
Yeah.
they postponed it.
Didn't
So
they give people, from what I understand, there's an option if you don't want to do the 2020, you're automatically in the 2021.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Justin's
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, with everything that's going on, there's a lot of different options right now of what you can do. You can just do nothing and it just stays and gets rescheduled till November. You can back out and get your refund back minus $25 or something like that. Or you can say, hey, I, am glad that I qualified for this year, but I can't make it now. So let's roll it over to next year. So yeah, lots of different options. So, but yeah.
So, am I correct in this? Because I didn't see that because I was doing my show, and shout out to Justin Hausner to drop the news in the feed as we were doing the OG show. But isn't it something like they're going to have like the Trail Championship, the Challenge Championship, all going on at the same time as the NC this year?
I don't believe it's the same time as the NC, but like the championship and all that is kind of bundled into one. And I think that's at, I think that's in Shreveport, if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Louisiana?
I think they're bundling the Trail Championship and all this other stuff together. And yeah, there was a lot going on last night in that discussion. I'm like, whoa, hey, I'm just worried about the NC. That's all I want to know.
I'm just laughing at Brad. Shreveport, Louisiana? Like, no, Shreveport, Kansas, dude.
I've never been to Louisiana. How am I supposed to know?
You sound like you're from Louisiana with that accent, bro. Like, I'm just
Dude,
saying.
I've been out of the state like 10 times. I've been out of Ohio 10 times probably in my whole life.
Oh my
But you
God.
knew where Shreveport was, but just the question, the way you said it was hilarious. I've never heard of another Shreveport.
Oh, there
like
could be another one.
Louisiana.
There's more than one Springfield.
Well,
Well, yeah, that is true. But no, I'll be honest, I didn't know like of Shreveport either until like they announced like the NC was going to be held there last year. I was like, Shreveport, what's that at? I was like, oh, Louisiana. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I was concerned because the way somebody made it sound to me was that like all those would be going on at the same time, and I'm like, you already got 600 or 700 people for the NC, and then you stack another 300 people on top of that. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I'm not interested in battling against 1,000 people.
Yeah, but they did tie though back into kind of like the old format though. Like instead of having a separate pro like tour that was happening, isn't it kind of back to where it sort of was last year?
Yeah, so the pro series is no more. It's a regular trail series now. And then there was something about a super trail where you don't have to be qualified or something like that. Again, I'm still a little kind of sketch on the details because there was a lot of information. So
yeah, I don't know.
But as long as St. Clair is still on, that's all I'm hoping for.
How many are they expecting for the 2020 later on?
Well, when I last looked later this morning, I think it was down to like 580 something, but I expect that number to change with, everything going on. I don't know if it's going to go back up or if it's going to go down further.
Yeah.
Because, the next couple weeks is going to be a mess with, poor Lynette is going to figure all that stuff out. But, I figure hopefully in another month or so, we'll have better solid numbers for that. So.
It makes me wonder what the 2021 will be like. I wonder if there's going to be even more anglers for that one next year.
Yep. Yeah, and they suspended the rest of the events, the live events. So any trail events for the next, was it 60 days? Yeah, 60 days are postponed. Yep. So yeah, there aren't really going to be any tournaments going on. And then for state challenges, you got to have at least 5. So that might be kind of tricky because
instead of 3.
Yeah. But so a lot of listeners here are from different states and everything, and if you're the unlucky soul like me and Brian are in Illinois, the IDNR decided to close all of their state managed areas. So that includes fishing areas such as Banner Marsh, Spring Lake, areas around you, Brian, and whatnot. So I know a lot of Illinois folks. David Brook is trying to make a petition right now. He's tagging Governor Pritzker in there and trying to get a lot of hype built up saying, hey, let's open some of these places back up because, with the seclusion, we need to be able to get out still. And fishing is not a very, social sport to say, unless you're getting up and close with somebody. But yeah, so.
No tandem kayak fishing? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
unless the cockpits are six feet apart.
Oh.
Right. just turn around and have your backs to each other. That'll work out.
I feel bad for you guys though, man. That's just a crazy situation.
I feel bad for the rest of the state. I don't feel bad for me.
Yeah.
I'm a spoiled biznatch. I live on a private lake, so
Right. Yep. So like Banner, all the gates are closed. You can't go in them at all. So I'm like, all right, there goes that. I haven't been to Spring Lake to see what that looks like. There's not really a gate. But what's to stop somebody from just driving up there unless they got barricades up or something like that. But my next nearest public area that isn't state managed would be, is it Bloomington Lake, I think, is the next closest one to me, which isn't too bad. I think Evergreen is state owned, if I remember.
Yeah,
right.
Evergreen is because you got to get a stamp.
The pass and whatnot. Yeah.
For kayak, yeah.
Yep. So,
I went there fall of 2018. That wasn't a bad lake. Not huge bass, but there's some decent fish in there.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it just sucks because if you're not a resident and you want to do like a daily thing, it's like $20 for a daily pass. But if you get
No,
like the season pass, yeah. If you wanted to get just like a daily permit and didn't get the season pass, it's like 18 or $20 if you're a non-resident. But if you do get the season pass, it's like $40. So it's, it makes sense to get the season-long pass.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a nice little campground there because we took the
Oh, yeah.
trailer down, camped, backed up to the lake, and yeah, I know I skunked day one. Day two, I figured them out.
Yeah, Tomlaura Park is pretty awesome there. They have a lot of cool trails and campsites and everything. So, but yeah, I got a couple of private lakes nearby that I can go to. So maybe if the weather isn't too cold this weekend, because I think Saturday we're only looking at 38 degrees for a high, and Sunday maybe a high of 43. So I'm like, man, come on.
Is that park outside of? It's not too far from Banner. Me and Randall stayed there last year, and you get paid to get in to fish the small lakes there. There's a couple like smaller lakes. A couple of them have some muskie in them and stuff. It was me, Randall, Butters, and
Trying to think of
Glenn
where.
Miller.
Is it out in Canton?
Might be. I don't know. It was like 15 minutes from Banner or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I know there's a bunch of different private places or places where you can pay or whatnot for like a membership or a daily pass in Canton. Is it Goose Ranch in Canton? And then there's a couple other like strip mine lakes inside Canton and outside Canton that you can fish as well. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm really glad that the NC got postponed. It just gives me a little more breathing room.
You weren't prepared for it, were you?
Not really. I'll be honest, 2020 has been a little bit rough so far. Yeah, just with unexpected things. Like I had my insurance company come back and say that a injection I got in my knee back in May is not like a covered service. Like I went back and forth with my insurance company in the orthopedic office. Like, what is going on? Like, what are they saying? At first they were saying it was denied because it wasn't medically necessary. And I'm like, I got arthritis in my knee. How is this not medically necessary? I've had shots in my knee before, so round and round, here we go. And, turns out that I guess apparently whatever they did just wasn't like a covered benefit. So like it has to be paid 100% out of pocket. And yeah, $1,500 is not an easy bill to swallow. So, yeah.
You'd have to win the national championship.
Right.
To cover that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd have to place.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What is 10th place payout? It's not even like 1,000, is it, for 10th place in the NC?
I don't remember.
I don't think it is, but like I think even 5th place was only maybe $3 or $5 grand. It wasn't like a whole lot compared to kind of what they've done historically. But regardless, yeah, I'd have to be in like the top 5 to pay it back. So yeah, but luckily enough, got good word on my tax refunds and everything, so that'll take care of that. So, and have some left over.
And the stimulus thing that was announced today.
Oh.
I think every working adult is getting a check from the government.
Are they actually going to go through with that? Because I've heard kind of like going back and forth with that.
I think it's still on the table, to be honest with you.
They announced it. They announced it today. I think they got a vote on it, but they said within the next 2 weeks, everybody could have $1,000 per adult.
Damn, that would be huge.
That would be nice.
Right?
It's just Brad's post. He's like, Torpedo, here I come.
Yeah. I commented on Ricketts' post because he posted the video of the guy in Trump talking about it. I said, yeah, I'm getting me a Torpedo. Definitely not, though. We're in the same boat. My wife got laid off and stuff because of all this virus. So got to be smart with the money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, luckily, Adam he went to work on Monday, and when he left, they said, well, you're not coming back. You can work from home. So, we've got that option, luckily. But me, I work in a hospital. So, my job's pretty vital to what we do. So, I'm not like scared or anxious or anything. I mean, everybody does a pretty good job of, protocols and everything. And I'm not in direct patient care either. So, but the pathologists that I do work for, they do go up and, in the patient areas and everything. But, they got scrubs on and everything. And before they come back down, they change and whatnot. So I'm not too incredibly worried, but it's still, a concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy times, man.
It is. It really is. I mean, my husband and we're talking the other night, and, it's just like, it's scary, but fascinating at the same time because, like, not even like my grandma lived through something like this, where a virus came out, I mean, it was what, like centuries ago, maybe, when something like this would have happened. So, yeah.
It's like something you would see out of a movie.
Exactly.
Here's what's so weird about it is you can't tell right now still in a sense that it's a big deal except for what they're doing government wise, like as far as like the numbers and everything like that, like it's so kind of low still, like everything's so uncertain. And I think that's what's scary for everybody is the uncertainty of. And what makes it bad is the media and Facebook and stuff. And we all getting our news from our Facebook feeds and we don't know what's real news, what's not. And that's what's kind of freaky about it. Like, like I told you guys today that I've been feeling sick the past few days. And I was like, man, this is the worst time to obviously to feel bad. And took the advice from work to stay home, and I talked to the wife and I was like, I wonder if I could go get tested. And we have a testing center here, but they will only test people who have known contact with somebody who else has COVID, and then somebody has like underlying or pre-existing health conditions, because there's not enough testing kits. Here's what was funny though, Susie, is they had 3,000 at that tent today. And I think that I read somewhere that they only used 200 of them at 4:00. They were going to be open from 10 till 6. So I'm like, and they're supposed to keep getting more, there's more being manufactured and coming in. So I'm like, that's the thing is like, are they just scared that people are going to freak out if they find out they do? Like I'm not scared. I don't feel awful right now. It was just it's a precautionary thing because I'm more scared. I'm not scared that I'm going to get deathly ill if I had it. I'm more scared that I have 2 small children and that, they're little kids in daycare and their daycare is still open. And so they could go and transmit. I'm not scared really for them even at this point, or my wife, but I'd hate to think that I'd be responsible for somebody losing like their mom or dad or somebody elderly, that sort of thing of, that's what scares me more than anything, or somebody who didn't have any clue that they had like a lung condition or something weird like that, but that's what kind of scares me about it. And so, right now I'm off work for the next couple of days to see how I feel. And then, I'm supposed to call back into work. And if I have the ability to get tested at that time, I'm going to try, but, sucks, and I don't feel awful, but, there was a couple symptoms that I had the past, couple of days and called a doctor and they're like, it freaked me out for about 10 minutes as they took down like what I said, and they're like, we're going to call you back. And I'm like, shit, the other doctor's office didn't say that. They were like, oh, just stay home. You'll be fine. Basically just, rest and fluids. And that's the thing is that's all you can do. There's nothing that you can do besides do that. It's nothing different than any other cold virus that we get, except it just, yeah, the best part is everybody coughing. As we talk about it,
dude.
it's like the phlegm comes up. Brian did it. Brad did it on our last pod. I was cracking up.
I was in the gas station earlier, and I was trying to hold in a cough so bad.
Oh,
I didn't want
that's
people looking at me, dude. Like,
Have
you
you
know.
guys? I saw the funniest meme. It was two different faces, and both faces were the same. And it was somebody like kind of scrunching up, like they were like pushing out a fart or something. And it says, "Remember the days when you used to cough to cover up a fart, but now you're farting to cover up your cough."
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I saw that.
But you know, it's like Brian gave me a hard time saying I'm freaking out. I'm not freaking out. I don't like what I think kind of freaks me out or kind of scares me is the thought of it that you could be carrying it and have no idea, you know, especially with young kids, you know.
Yep.
So I mean, my kids, dude, literally look like they constantly have colds. Their noses are constantly running. They have coughs like literally every other week. And so, you know, it's that's the thing. It's really ugly to see how the media has spun this and made it so kind of freaky for so many people to the point that they freak out. But also, these are the same people that we all laugh at, that when it snows an inch in Ohio, they clear the shelves off. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we live in Ohio and it happens every winter, and you'd think we'd be used to it, but we react like they do in Florida when it snows. Like it's unreal, isn't it, Brad? It's hilarious. Like every year it snows, you would have thought it was the first time it ever snowed here. So
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
We can relate this to kayak fishing somehow.
Right. Well, you know, as you guys all saw my post from Saturday, I went up to Quest and got my new 360.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
let me know how many times it breaks. No, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't know that it will or won't, but Brad and I'd like to get some like kind of accurate like stuff that's going on with it. And hopefully you'll be honest with us. I know you're on Hobie's team and all that stuff, and you don't want to talk bad about the product, but I mean, I'm a Jackson guy. I'm not on their team, but I'll always kind of be open with where I think products fall short regardless. So
for sure. Yeah. And I mean, you know, this is the first year that, you know, the 360 drive came out. It's going to have things happen, you know, whether they want it or not. You know, they can test it, you know, as much as they can. But when, you know, the team people are out there and pushing it to its max, you know, that's when we're really going to find all the, you know, troubles or faulties or whatever it be, you know. So, I mean, you know, and that's, you know, how I am too. It's just like, I'm not here to bash. I'm being honest, you know, like, hey, I didn't really like how it did this or it didn't do this, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but,
and that's how it gets improved. You know, we all sit back and always, you know, gloss it over and, you know, well, you know, and it'll bring attention to it quickly, you know what I mean? Instead of sitting back and kind of doing it behind the scenes and everybody continues to get them and then you continue to have problems with it, you know, which is sort of similar to what you saw with the Jackson Flex Drive last year, that like that whole debacle, you know, where it was just it turned into like literally everybody who had a Jackson pedal drive was getting new drives. So, but, you know, it's the same deal, though. It's a first gen idea, model, whatever you want to call it. And it's 9 times out of 10, any product that you buy, it's first generation, you are going to be working out bugs. So,
Yep. It's like a new game when it comes out, you know, it's going to crash. It's going to have bugs. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's what's cool about the kayak, the kayak teams and stuff like this. That a lot of these companies go to the pro staffers and ask them what their thoughts are in certain parts of the boat. They'll get their input about it, and you know,
I'm not laughing at you, Brad. I'm sorry.
Well, they'll ask for their hand in designs and you know stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if Hobie does that, but Bonafide, you know, they've asked us a few times about stuff.
Susie, will you do something for me?
Sure.
if something happens to your drive, will you bust your phone out, start recording, and yell, "My 360 drive has the Rona"?
Of course I will. I'll do it just for you.
And then the next picture, you've got like a little face mask on it.
Right. Well, I'm actually thinking about testing out the 360 on Sunday.
Sunday.
Where are you gonna go?
To a private lake. It's outside Mackinac, Illinois. It's called Heritage Lake. So, yep, that's where I'm gonna be.
Nice.
That's actually the place where I caught my very first tiger muskie. It's the it's
yeah.
my famous video that pops up every August from 2015 or 2014? Gosh, man, I can't even remember. It's somewhere around that 2014 or 2015. I went fishing out there when I got my new Hobie, the blue one back in the day, and I was just throwing a God, I don't even remember what it was. It was some kind of little shallow diving thing, and I caught something, I pulled up. I was like, what the hell is this? And then in my video, I'm just like, holy beep. Like, I didn't hold back at all. I was just like, what is this thing? I had no idea. I didn't know how to handle it or anything. I had like, the big bright green fish grip things or whatever. And
Yeah.
I put it on the fish, and of course, it flung off of me. So like there's a shot in the camera where it's like, kind of facing up, and you just see the fish grips on it.
Oh yeah.
That's always cool though, when you get in a new boat and you catch something like that.
Mhm.
That's always a cool feeling.
Heck yeah, it was awesome. I always like waiting for it to come up in August. I'm like, where's that video at? I'm catching that tiger muskie.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't. It's on my
Okay.
Facebook. It's always funny when I watch it too, because like at the very end, once the fish, it finally came off the hook or whatever, because like I didn't know how to handle it or anything. It came off and it swam away, and like I turned the camera at me and I just started giggling because I was just like,
You need to find that and send it to us.
okay,
See it.
yeah, I'll
That's
send
cool.
it to you.
So let me ask you guys this, because I had a recent scenario with this going back to, pro staffs and people asking for input and things.
Saw you laugh when I said that.
Yeah, well, I think you know where this is going. So you give input on something that obviously you use a lot, right? You're on staff for said company, and then you get there's a so-and-so staffer, better take his word for it, like some smart ass comment. And like, how do you handle that situation? So I guess I should give the backstory on this, right? So somebody posted on Kayak Bass Fishing about the blue sky. A friend of mine tagged me in the post, and it was, basically somebody asking for thoughts on what they dislike and what they like about it. And I was pretty honest about it. And, going back to that first gen thing, there was some issues with the, 2019 models. And since a lot of those issues were corrected for the 2020s, so I went through and stated like pros and cons, and like 2019s had this issue, 2020s were corrected in this way, and blah, 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 blah. And then some dude was like, oh, go figure, Jackson Pro Staffer shows up in the chat or something. And I was like, look, dude, like, I was tagged in this. I'm giving my honest opinion. My opinion, unlike many, is pretty well documented on the situation. So, like, I don't know what to tell you, bro, but thanks anyways, and good luck this season. Just giving my input, whether you like it or not. Like, don't know what to tell you, and I don't know. It was just kind of like one of those snooty comments that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but at the same time, I didn't lash out. I was just like,
I saw that exchange. You handled it pretty well. I thought.
I like to kill them with kindness.
Did you happen to like dig into this person a little bit further? Like, did you click on their profile at all and see if like they were a part of any other?
So here was the thing. The dude has his own Blue Sky and proceeded to say that he loved his Blue Sky as well. I'm like, so what is your deal, dude? Like, because he made a comment. He made a comment about how it sucks to push it through like sand and loose gravel, which it does. And
that goes with any kayak, really. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, like any cart or something. I think Malone's got the bigger tire one. Jay Randall's got that, and it's got like the sand tires on it. And I agreed with the dude in my comment, but I was like, however, there's now like a sand tire that has come out that you can upgrade. Obviously it's an extra cost, but it helps prevent that issue from dragging through sand and stuff. And I was like, 95% of the time I'm launching at a concrete ramp anyways. So like, that issue isn't really pertinent to me. So I guess it's more of, where you're going to be fishing or whatever. And I think that's where he kind of like got his panties in a bunch and, felt the need to like, and I was like, look, dude, I've only been on the Jackson team for like 4 months, but I spent a whole year tournament fishing out of that boat. Like, I don't know, like I've spent a lot of time in it. This is what I've found. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. It's always hard getting, some of those comments sometimes, because you're just like, damn it, guys, come on. I'm just trying to be like helpful and positive and like, help the community out, and then you'll have some people who come in here or negative Nancy's or just like trying to troll, and anymore, I just scroll right by them now, because, the moment we give in to them, they're winning with, trolling and the negativity. So I'm just like, keep moving. It gets really hard though sometimes, because I mean, sometimes those people tend to make a lot of noise sometimes, and then it gets harder to ignore. But I mean, we just got to keep on doing the best that we can, I mean, regardless whether or not it, helps somebody out, we just got to keep on doing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I've had instances like where I've jumped on like the Jackson owners group and had people ask questions, and you'll get some people. It's just, I'm a firm believer you can't buy anything perfect anymore. There's nothing.
Right,
there's no service. There's nothing. So, there's always, you can always find faults in something that you buy or purchase, or you're even a part of, whether it's a tournament, whatever. Nothing's perfect.
Right.
But you got to somewhat believe that people do try their best, and where those people step up, or companies, is where what they do to take care of those problems, and Jackson did a really good job of stepping up and taking care of problems. The problem with it is, though, is a lot of times you'll get the people who are still unhappy, and all they want to do is bash, and that's who they are as a person 9 times out of 10. That's just, they are just completely always unhappy unless it's virtually perfect. And it's like, and those are the kind of people that are miserable, because they are always demanding perfect things and situations, but it never happens, because nothing really is. If you're one of those people, you're always going to find a fault. So, a lot of times I'd see people talk about those Jackson claims and stuff like that they had with boats, and, one of them being the seat cracking, or the boat cracking where the seat fits into. And, there was a lot of people making like really bad, just crappy comments about it, and they're still Jackson owners. That's what was weird. And it's like, there's boats out there. There's usually, when you have one problem, there's going to be multiple problems when it's the same problem, and I was like, a lot of times it could be something from somebody sitting down too hard, but that person doesn't want to admit that that's what happened, Like Justin had that issue with his boat. Now I don't think Justin did that to his boat. That dude looks like he's super skinny guy.
Yeah, he weighs like 80 pounds, bro.
Yeah, he could have dropped down on that thing over and over again. But that part of that boat is one of the weirdest spots when you think about it, like the angles of what is occurring, and for mold plastic to flow into that section and it not kind of be weak. And Jackson has always been a company that will keep going and addressing those problems and improving and whatnot. So, that's the thing. I guess what I would recommend for people to do, if you kind of start seeing that stuff, if you have something positive to say it. If there's going to be people that are going to be negative about it, drop your positive comment, reassure some things, be honest. You can tell your pros and cons about it. And if ever people don't like it, that's fine. I don't think it's healthy to go out and bash somebody or a company or something to try to make them look bad. Like, with I guess that malintent, to kind of be a jerk. There's nothing constructive about that. There's nothing wrong with pointing out flaws, but there's a way to do it and go about it and stay professional with it. Or like you said, be useful about it. Be like, Brad and I just talked about the NRS dry suits on our podcast that's going to come up on Thursday. And, there's things that we liked about it and some stuff that we didn't like. But overall, we're like, dude, I'm glad we've got them. This thing's going to save my life. It might not be the most comfortable thing. There's some frustrating stuff about like stretching the neck out and that thing. But, at the same time, though, it's like, that's how things are. Like, that's just like, I have a truck and I can't stand my truck now. But you know what? It gets me from point A to point B. It's not broken down yet. It sucks gas down. Like, its main priority in life is just to cost me money at the pump. But after all, though, I'm like, I laugh because I'm like, dude, it's awesome though. It's an awesome vehicle to have for fishing. Like, I can load up kayaks in it and people in it comfortably. I have a trailer, it pulls trailer fine. I mean, it's a kayak trailer. It should, a Ford Escort would pull a kayak trailer fine, but that's how it is, man. Like, products aren't made like they used to be, that's just, and unfortunately that's just the society we live in. And if you're not used to it yet, get used to it, because it probably will only get worse, really. That, I think I'm more upset nowadays by like those services you get, like home services, and you're like, you get somebody to come in and they like say they fixed it and like they left 24 hours later. You're like, dude, I don't think they even fixed it. Like, did he just put duct tape on that leak? You know what I mean? Like, to charge us $800.
What'd you do? Have Brad come over and fix a pipe or what?
Yeah, Brad came over and put his chewing gum on it and just rolled out.
Well, I mean, going back to like you were talking about Jackson. I know, like, every boat manufacturer, man, is, there's no perfect boat, like you said before, but the customer service goes a long way, man. I know back when I bought my SS127, like that first year, I think it was like a 2017 or something like that, 2018. Like where the back legs of the chair are now, there's like a bunch of pads there, and they have that plastic stopper there. Well, they originally didn't come with that, and I remember Travis at Rocktown had called me and he was like, hey, you need to register your boat. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you never registered your boat for warranty. Bonafide just called and they're going to mail you some parts to address that. And it was like that pad kit that went under the seat, because what it was, and they redesigned the seat, but on the old seats, if you had the seat in the low position, that back round part was like rubbing holes into the hulls, and it only happened like a handful of times, because let's face it, most people that get bonafides run their seats in the high position 99.9% of the time. But I registered my stuff, and then it was like the next day they sent me an email and they're like, is your address correct? We're going to mail you this, kit to put on there and this and that. And they didn't have that, the clips on that bungee that would clip to the back of the seat bar to keep it from like moving forward if you scooted up in the seat or something like that. So, I mean, and that's the same thing too. Like I remember, I think it was like 2 years ago, some dude found a little pinhole in the hull of his Bonafide. And it was from the manufacturing process. And he did like what Josh was saying. He jumped on the Bonafide owners group and was like complaining about it. And Luther jumped in and he was like, look, man, I want to take care of you. Like, just calm down. Like, what's the issue? And Luther sent a guy out to his house, which was like 8 or 10 hours away from the factory, to go fix his hull in his boat. You know, and then they brought him a bunch of like Yak Attack accessories as gifts. Like, here, dude, like, sorry this happened to you. Like, just wanted to take care of you and this and that. And I know, like, you were asking Susie about the Hobie drive. Like, I've seen a couple things, like with the breakaway fins, not too much with the 360, but I know, or I've heard that there's like a couple people have had issues with it, but it seems like Hobie jumps right on top of it, you know, and takes care of it. And I know even like, I forget which boat it was, wrecked boat at the shop that we sell, and where the seat mounts in the boat, like the bracket that connects to the boat would break. That company would just mail us new brackets and have us fix the customer's boat, and, you know, no questions asked. I mean, most companies are like that, man. I mean, if you're dealing with a shady company where like the customer service is crap, that's when I would like jump ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, I think you're right. You know, like it's not constructive just to like jump on the good old interwebs and freak out without talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not only that, but I've seen too where like people like freak out because they don't get a response in 30 seconds. You know, it's like, you're not the only customer, dude. Like, you're not the only thing going on at this company's, you know, point in time. Like, give them a day or two. But I mean, everything that I've heard, like as far as like fishing kayak companies go and stuff like that, man, most companies jump right on board to take care of those issues, you know.
Yeah. I have yet to really hear of any stories where anybody's been like turned down. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
right,
no, dude,
right.
that's all you. You know, even
Yeah.
like, I mean, I've heard stories where, you know, it's that person's fault. What they did broke that boat. It has nothing to do with the manufacturer. And those companies are still out there replacing their boats or whatever,
Right,
you know, still
right.
doing stuff to fix it. So, you know, and we're all going to experience that. You're going to have those times where something's just, it's not good, you know. Like I have that Anchor Wizard, and the one that I just sold with my kayak, and I'm not a big fan of it. It works still, but it was just frustrating because that spool always came loose, and I wouldn't even have to use it. And it was just vibration would cause it to come loose, and I'd look over and I'm like, man, that thing looks like it's gonna fall off. But you know, I never jumped on there and be like, anybody asked me information, I'm like, dude, it works. You know, like they redesigned it. It's a lot better than the one I have. I have like, you know, like I think the last year the older kind of look that it had before they switched over and kind of redid everything on it. But at the same time, I'm like, what jumping on Anchor Wizard and bashing it wouldn't solve anything, wouldn't do anything. They address those issues. They're making good decisions to move forward, redesign it, whatever. No big deal, you know. So I just pass it on to somebody else, like, you deal with it. No, I didn't use it that much. I ended up not utilizing it like I thought I would, you know. So, but
I want to kind of piggyback off of this topic, you know. I mean, talking about, you know, the different brands and stuff like that. Now, you know, one thing that I've seen happen in both ways, both good and positive, is when somebody was on either a Jackson team and then gets off of it and goes to another team, or, you know, vice versa, you know. And sometimes I've seen a lot of backlash for it, you know. It'd be like, oh, you know, you're disbanding such a great name and everything, you know, you're a disappointment to Jackson for getting off their team. And it's just like, whoa, calm down, guys. Like, somebody leaving the team doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with Jackson itself, or whatever team they left. That's their personal choice for doing that. If somebody has had a better experience with a different brand, then so be it. Don't be so darn,
Yeah, you saw quite a bit of that this year, just because like a lot of people switched boats. I know at Jackson we had a few people leave and went to Hobie and a couple other brands, and I saw the same thing, and it was just like, they found something that suits them better, or they were offered a better opportunity. Like, you can't blame somebody for that. It's the same thing as like, I'm always a guy that, I say like, I treat my staff positions as a job, and actually you should, and that's the thing. Like right now, like, I started my new gig, and, it suits me better than what I was doing. But like, down the road, if I was offered a better opportunity, well, I'd be a fool not to take it. You know what I mean? Like, so you can't blame people for that. Sometimes people just need change, like just want to do something different, be in a different boat, or fish with a different rod, or a different bait, something like that. I mean, I don't blame anybody for that, but like giving them a hard time about it, like
it's ridiculous.
I know. Yeah, that's kind of the sad part about it, because it's like if somebody new is coming into this sport, and they see this, they're just like, well, what the hell did I just get myself into? It's just like, what are we promoting here by doing this?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. Like,
you start acting like pro sports, like players getting traded, or signing with a different team, and everybody freaks out. But I mean, Brian makes the perfect point. Like, we don't know what 9 times out of 10 what those people's like offer is from one company versus another company. So they may get this sweet deal. And the thing that really comes down to it, though, is that we're all mainly fishermen before we're into kayaks. So like these guys that are really kind of like making moves from team to team are usually tend to be on the more serious, tournament trails, tournament fishermen, that sort of thing. So, they may have gotten a deal with a company that another company wasn't offering. And why wouldn't they take it? They don't have to spend the money on buying a kayak for themselves. Maybe they got a free boat. We don't know. But whatever it probably helped them to alleviate the cost of traveling and whatnot. And, isn't that their ultimate goal? Why bash them in the long run? Now, I don't like, though, when those people do leave and they want to kind of leave a company and they have a lot of negative comments to say on the way out. That just kind of makes you look like an ass in your opinion. But, here's my point on that. There's nothing wrong with feeling that negative stuff. You may have been treated wrong. There's a different thing of going out there and publicly discussing it and bashing somebody else. Like, I don't see how it's constructive, really. But like you said, Susie, it just really hurts the overall community, and we really don't need that. Like, you can have your opinions, you can express it to the right people if you need to, like your friends, family, whatever, whoever. But to go online and talk smack is just, that's weak-minded crap, in my opinion. That's just somebody who wants to take jabs, and they're a keyboard warrior, whatever you want to call them. So
and it's just like, let's stop being keyboard warriors. I mean, I know right now we're in, isolation and social distancing or whatever, but like that doesn't mean that you still can't go outside or find a place to go bait fishing. It's just like, come on, guys. Like, at the end of the day, what's this supposed to be all about? Like, just shut up and go fishing.
Yeah. That's it. Plain and simple.
Right. Yeah. And, and it's also like, what brought us all together in the first place? We share this same passion. We share this same joy of fishing and the sport of fishing. Like, let's stop worrying about these little stupid nitty gritty bullshit things and just shut up and fish.
It's just funny though, because it's only kind of gonna get worse. Like honestly, only because it involves money now.
Yeah.
And when you start involving money into anything is where these problems and this drama a lot of times, fires up from. So as long as the revenue keeps streaming into it, because I mean, you guys remember this. I've been kayak fishing long enough to remember this stuff is getting this is kind of new to the sport in a sense, the drama that's happened this year. It's not super new, but I don't think we've seen it at the magnitude of what's happened this year. And like 5 years ago when I started this, dude, like it didn't matter what you were in. It didn't matter what boat you were in. It didn't matter.
Yes.
You went to like the tournaments. Everybody's just like, yeah, you're awesome. I'm awesome. Susie, you're awesome. Brad, you're awesome. We kayak fish. Now we're
Hey,
like,
dude.
Wait.
I don't know
You
if I want to talk
say
to
I
Brian.
was awesome.
I didn't know you back then. I knew Susie. We just
Those guys out on the West Coast are still that way, man.
Yeah.
They're a tight knit group.
But it's just, it kind of sucks. It's losing that effect. And that's what, we've all been talking about that lately as the group of hosts. But what is so funny, Brian?
Well, he mentioned the West Coast guys, and I just thought like maybe Illinois will change that way. I mean, West Coast guys, there's a bunch of stoners out there, everything's kosher with them. I mean, maybe that's the problem, man. Out here, like East Coast, Midwest, down south, man, maybe they just all need to smoke a joint. I don't know. Just saying.
Little powwows.
Yeah. We're all awesome, man. Let's just go fish, bro.
Like,
you know what I mean? I don't know. I agree with you, Josh, though. I mean, the negativity, the drama, it's just too much, man.
It is getting a lot more frequent, and it's when the next big thing happens, it's like I totally lost my train of thought there. It's like a viral thing that happens, and it's just like boom, boom, but here
damn coronavirus.
Yeah,
the coronavirus spawned
from guys, and keeping up with all of this too is a job in itself. And that's what makes it hard and frustrating, because it's just like at the end of the day, it's just like, all right, I gotta spend 30 minutes going through KDF, KDN, Hobie, Jackson, whoever, whatever. All right, what's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here? It's just like, well, crap, I could have just spent, the last 2 hours going through that, going fishing instead. But hey, I got to keep up with everything keep up with in the now, it's just like, man.
I've said it many times in the past and including present day, like all it does is hurt our sport, man. Like you get somebody new that comes into the sport and they see some of this stuff, they're like, what the hell did I just get myself into?
Yeah.
I'm now involved with a bunch of crybaby, like, like in that's the thing. Like, unfortunately, it's one of those scenarios where 10% of the community puts the bad name out there for the rest of us. And that's pretty unfortunate, man. And, I even, we were talking in the group chat or whatever, and it's like sometimes I let myself get sucked into that crap. And it's hard not to. Yeah. And it's like I try to steer myself away from it as much as possible, but, it's just one of those things, man. I don't know. If everybody would just shut up and fish more,
I think we're lucky,
though. A lot better off.
I think we have kind of a lucky situation here with paddle and fin is that we can read that stuff and react, but we have our little own mini platform to bounce this crap off of, like within our little host group, because we are from different parts of the states. So it's kind of nice having that, because I mean, I call Brian up and be like, dude, did you hear about that? Or he'd say something, or Brad, or, whoever, or we all can get on the host page and just vent out those frustrations and then move on, and be done with it at that point. So, it's unfortunate. Hopefully we'll take a turn for the better, like maybe once everything kind of starts getting back to normal, but I unfortunately think it might get worse before it gets better, just because of the introduction of some of the new tournament scenes, with bass and that sort of thing. Just because, like I said, when you start putting dollars into this stuff, man, is where people's true colors start to come through, and it's just kind of unfortunate. It starts to be more about the money and not about fishing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Dollars are not. Dollars are not, though. I mean, even if, somebody were to come and say, oh, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 to do this or whatever, like, I'm not going to change who I am just because that. I mean, yeah, I might have to change some things that I do, for what they are. But, like, at the end of the day, it's just
sell
like,
out.
Who
Totally kidding.
Who remains true, when they have, the dollars or the sponsors and stuff like that, and then they start winning, do they stay true to themselves? Do they change? I mean, you got to change in some ways, but, are you changing who you are in the process as well? So, and that's one thing I've been, thinking about a lot too. It's just like, if I had that opportunity to, win a lot more, it's just like, would it change who I am? Would it change how I talk to people? Would it change, what would it change? That type of thing. And I'm like, I gotta always remember where I came from and how I started. And there's people out there that are, starting off where I started off, 6-7 years ago. So it's all about perspective, I guess.
Yeah. I was gonna say something a while ago, but I forgot.
Oh man, you were hanging out with those West Coast boys, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Do you remember how big that bass I caught was, bro? And he's like, no, man. He's like, me either. I forgot to measure it.
You're gonna get a message from like the Dark Horse division. We're coming after you guys.
That dude. I love the guys out in California. The stuff that they do,
man.
It's cool what they're doing out there, and it's kind of I really kind of, if we've got the California crew out there listening to the podcast, man. Oh, you guys need to just blow it up, man. Because like you said, dude, it's a cool community what they're doing, and there's a lot of people that need to follow suit with that. So
yeah,
definitely. So with the NC being canceled, what's everybody's next tournament? Or, well,
I don't know. You tell me, Susie.
If it happens.
Yeah, we had the little local trail here. It was going to be the first one of the year. It was a charity tournament, and they just postponed it today. So it kind of stinks because we went from it being like a live check-in and a cookout at Strictly Sail and stuff. That's what they usually do with their tournaments. And it was going to be any public Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
You could fish it, and you just had to be back at Strictly Sail at a certain time. But it switched, and they decided to do no like in-person type thing. It was going to be online. So everybody's like, cool, kind of expected that. And then it got postponed today. So not quite sure, because Brad, I just looked up on ODNR's website, and the ODNR stuff is still open. So
I don't know what's going on, dude. There's so much back and forth right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Tell them to not be like Illinois.
Yeah.
Tell them to be like who was like promoting people to like go to the parks and stuff. Was it Indiana?
Indiana.
Yeah. I was like, man,
Yeah.
those guys are doing it right.
I just gotta say, I talked to Sam today, and it seems like every time I talk to him, he's on the water. You son of a bitch. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear on your episode here, Susie.
It's okay. It's bound to happen. I mean, I dropped the BS bomb too, so yeah. But I know. It's just like, all right, I mean, I think they've been having a little bit warmer weather too, or maybe or something. But I'm just like, all right, hell or high water.
Is he actually in Indiana still, or is he out of state?
He was in Indy.
He's in Indiana.
Yeah.
How long do you guys think this is going to affect local tournaments and stuff?
That's a good question.
Yeah, Susie. How long? Susie.
It's unknown. It really is unknown. So, like, schools and a lot of majority of everything are closed until the 30th or 31st.
Yeah.
Once we get towards the end of next week, I think we'll have a pretty good idea of where things are. As long as everybody, I know. Well, the part of it is too, is like, you look at what happened over in Italy, and it just was like, guys, come on,
10 days.
Let's get together as, not literally get together, but let's get our shit together. Let's be responsible adults and adhere to what we are being told,
No, I won't do that. Responsible? No.
Get out of here. It's all about not overwhelming, the hospitals and everything else. That is what the biggest part of it is, and Italy's what, like just a couple of states size wise in the US. So, you think about it as a country as a whole, you see what people are already doing in the stores and everything. Places are getting overwhelmed. They can't keep things in stock. It's like, okay, I get it. I can understand the mentality behind some of those things. But like also at the same time, Josh, like what you were saying too, I'd hate to be responsible for sending someone's grandma to the hospital because I had it and didn't know it and wasn't being responsible. I was being ignorant about it. Like, oh, I'm not going to get it. I don't have to worry about it. That's not the mentality to have right now. We don't have to be like super, super serious and be like, oh, I can't go outside at all or touch anything. You can still go outside. It's okay. You just got to be smart about it, and just like if you don't have to travel or go anywhere or be around people, then hey, that's going to help us in the long run. But it's really unknown. Oh, buddy, COVID toad. That.
Somebody
Maybe
posted
it's a brag to like interrupt like the strong point of the whole podcast.
Yeah, guy's such a
with a
douche.
I'll see myself out.
No, you better not. We're just kidding.
Oh!
He came back. He faked us out. Your video's not up, Brad.
Just kidding. But
Oh, there he is. Oh, dude, you blurred your background.
Background's blurry.
Yours isn't anymore.
I'm
Yours looks
sorry.
good. But yeah, go ahead, Susie.
But anyway, I think it's just gonna have to be taken on a weekly basis. We'll see where we're at the end of this week. We'll see where we're at the end of next week. It's really going to be hard telling. Is it going to get better? I don't know. Is it going to get worse? I don't know. We aren't really going to know anything until it happens. It's going to reach a peak at some point, but then peaks, they always come back down. So, I'm really hoping that, by the second week of April, things are going to start looking really good. That's my hope. So. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but the weather's going to start breaking too. It's going to start warming up. We're going to have rain and stuff like that, but we're coming out of winter. It's 2 more days until the first day of spring.
Oh, now you just made it snow on that day.
No, it's supposed to thunderstorm. So, and it's supposed to be like
57, I think.
57. So I don't know about you, but that's spring. Except for this weekend, it's gonna be cold. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's what?
Spring.
Yeah. Say that again.
Spring.
Spring. It's with an A, no I. Spring.
Gotta get that twang in there.
Twang.
Oh, get Milford. He'll put some twang in there.
I was just thinking that too.
That's spring.
We'll get in that spring, man.
Just trying to make it through spring.
Spring. Just over here trying to make it in spring, man.
You got my manners?
Brian.
I was trying to make it through spring with my manners. Trying to make it, bro.
Y'all got any of them fire jackhammer crawls?
Yeah.
Dude, he's gonna hate us.
There's a
Yeah,
backstory to the Minners.
Oh.
We
Minners.
gotta cut.
Do we got enough time for that story?
I don't think. No.
Let's save it for after hours.
Yeah, after hours.
let's save it for after hours. What are we looking at for time, Brandon?
We're at like an hour 5.
Oh, nice.
So, right on.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna guess that by the second week of April, things are gonna be better. That's gonna be my guess. I'll bet on it.
I'm hoping so.
Dude, if I die during that week, I'm gonna be so pissed off at you. I'm gonna haunt your ass forever. Adam's gonna be like, why is this dude walking around and ghosts screaming Minners all night long and shit?
Susie, it's spring.
Spring, Susie, get your manners. It's like, oh, I wish I never made that bet.
I can't wait to hear this story. It'll give you listeners something to look forward to for the after hours.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to bring that up. Oh, shoot. Anyway, so yeah.
Thanks for having us on, Susie.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. Thanks
Sure.
for coming on. Like I said, it's been crazy for everybody, and just everything that's been going on between work and life and everything, and just not feeling like I have my shit together. I'm like, all right, I'm like, all right, I just need to step back, kind of collect myself and reevaluate, be like, all right, let's do this. I can do this.
I think that's the beauty of the podcast, right? Like, I mentioned that last night on the live. The show, was intended to just give everybody a break from reality. You know what I mean? Like, the world's screwed up right now, for sure. But we're all humans. We can still live on our lives. Instead of freaking out and living in fear and just kick back and relax, man. So
right. Yeah, you got a podcast to look forward to every day, pretty much. Different topics, different people, that's positive right there. Heck yeah, I look forward to that every day.
Dude, I look forward to jumping on here with you guys. I know it takes my mind off stuff. I have fun.
Yeah.
I was like, Brad's like, hey, dude, you don't have to do the pod tonight. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do, man. I haven't been on one for a while. I was starting to lose my shit. I was like,
yeah,
I need to talk into a microphone.
Hey, babe.
Oh, man.
It's been a while, man. And
It has been a while.
It's been a while since I talked to anybody about like really kayak fishing and stuff. So I need to start getting my crap together too, though. Everything's such a mess. I'm so bad. Every year I'm like, I'm going to get organized. And then I'm like, it's July. Where's my swim baits at?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate it, guys, for coming on.
Absolutely.
Always, it's a good time. Always love kind of just stepping back and having other non-ladies on the show, just kind of getting back in touch with reality.
Nice. Right on.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in tonight. As always, check back. I'm every other Wednesdays, Adventures with the Outdoorwoman, and we'll see you on the water later.
Peace.